With its embrace of the left's milkshake assaults on politicians, CBS News has joined CNN's campaign to encourage violence against the political right. Brexit Party leader Nigel Farage was just the latest right-leaning politician attacked with a milkshake over the weekend, and as my colleague James Dlingpole points out, there is nothing funny or harmless about these assaults. Once you start suggesting that physical assaults of any kind are acceptable, then you are legitimizing violence. And violence has a nasty habit of escalating, Dlingpole writes, and that is exactly correct. The right to swing your fistins at the tip of my nose, and hurling a milkshake at someone is a physical assault. Period. Even if it does not escalate beyond a milkshake, you are still throwing a physical object at someone, which at worst could injure them and at best vandalizes their property in the form of their clothes. Physical assault is an extremely easy and moral line to draw, and we all know the media would have defconned one if a Barack Obama or Elizabeth Warren was ever hit with a milkshake. Nevertheless, here is CBS News openly encouraging physical assaults against their political enemies on the right, emphasis added. Protesters in Britain have weaponized the milkshake. In the latest of a series of attacks on right-wing politicians, Brexit Party leader Nigel Farage was doused with a milkshake yesterday. That was actually salted caramel, if anyone is wondering. Laughter, he was campaigning. These attacks have come to be known as milkshaking. Now, this follows egging. It follows pieing, punching. I don't know. I'm sure it feels great. I'm sure people love the feeling. Pictures fly around the world. Put some of that energy into campaigning and maybe the people you don't want to be in office won't be in office. That is not some talking head cracking wise, that is a so-called journalist, Tony Dokoupil, who co-hosts CBS This Morning. You can watch the sickening spectacle at Newsbusters, which describes the scene this way, emphasis original. The journalists at CBS This Morning on Tuesday laughed at a new trend by militant leftists, dumping milkshakes on politicians they don't like. Co-host Tony Dokoupil began with a whimsical recounting. In the latest of a series of attacks on right-wing politicians, Brexit Party leader Nigel Farage was doused with a milkshake yesterday. That was actually salted caramel, if anyone is wondering. This prompted laughter from Dokoupil's co-hosts. Continuing the jovial discussion of political violence, he added, I'm sure it feels great. I'm sure people love the feeling. Pictures fly around the world. This is yet another example of how the corrupt establishment media want to create an animal farm affirmative action world where the left enjoy more civil rights than the right. When the right says something the media do not like, it is violence, racism, and dangerous. When the left does actually assault someone, it is great. The political elite, academia, the news media, Hollywood, and our tech lords are all abusing their power to grant the left the civil right to say and do whatever they like, including violence. See Antifa. Meanwhile, the right is silenced and slapped with scarlet letters over terms and traditional beliefs, for refusing to call a biological man a woman, for opposing abortion and gay marriage, for using the term illegal alien as opposed to the Orwellian mush that is undocumented immigrant. We are censored, blacklisted, deplatformed, and disappeared over ideas and words, while the left engages in actual violence and is applauded for it. And now you have CBS News joining CNN in legitimizing, condoning, and encouraging physical assaults, but only against one class of people, the unprotected class. Now ask me again why the political elite, the news media, tech lords, academia, and Hollywood are so desperate to take away our Second Amendment civil right to own a firearm. So far there have been more than 330 documented hate crimes against Trump supporters. CNN and CBS consider that only a good start. 2 illegal alien members of the violent MS-13 gang have been charged with the murder of a 14-year-old girl in Maryland after previously being released from custody by a sanctuary city. Last week, illegal alien MS-13 gang members Josu Rafael Fuentes Ponce, 16 years old, and Joel Ernesto Escobar, 17 years old, were charged with first-degree murder, along with 14-year-old Cynthia Hernandez Nucamenti, in the death of 14-year-old Ariana Funes Diaz in Prince George's County, Maryland. According to police, the 2 illegal alien MS-13 gang members and Hernandez Nucamenti met the 14-year-old victim at an apartment complex before taking her into a wooded area nearby. In the wooded area, police say the 3 beat the girl with a baseball bat and stabbed her to death with a machete. Now, the pair of illegal alien MS-13 gang members and Hernandez Nucamenti have been charged with murdering Funes Diaz. Last year, Fuentes Ponce and Escobar were released from custody by Prince George's County officials after being charged with attempted first-degree murder, attempted second-degree murder, participation in gang activity, conspiracy to commit murder, and attempted robbery. At the time, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) agency had requested that the two illegal alien gang members not be released back into the community and instead be turned over to their custody for deportation. Prince George's County, a sanctuary city, released the illegal aliens anyway, and they were never able to be arrested or deported by ICE. These individuals had demonstrated violent criminal behavior before, and because they were released in spite of the lawful detainer, they were afforded an opportunity to take a life, an ICE official said in a statement. Fuentes first arrived in the U.S. at the Texas-Mexico border in December 2015 as part of a family unit. He and the other family members were paroled into the U.S. though a judge requested that the illegal alien be deported in March 2017. He never arrived for his court hearing and was subsequently never deported. Likewise, Escobar entered the Texas-Mexico border as an unaccompanied juvenile in August 2016. Instead of being deported, he was released to family members living in Washington, D.C., where he has lived since illegally entering the country. The New York Times has launched a full-court press on behalf of the abortion industry with an op-ed titled, "Pregnancy Kills. Abortion Saves Lives." Written by Warren M. Hearn, who specializes in performing late-term abortions, the article asserts that every pregnancy poses a serious health risk to the mother. Pregnancy always comes with some irreducible risk of death, Dr. Hearn warns, whereas abortion can be life-saving. In his essay, Dr. Hearn is reacting to the new Alabama law that significantly limits abortions in that state, suggesting that what legislators are restricting is a life-saving procedure. Alabama's new law claims that it does not prohibit abortion if there is a reasonable medical judgment that the pregnancy poses a serious health risk to the woman, Hearn notes. But pregnancy itself poses a serious health risk, including the risk of dying and losing all bodily functions. A woman's life and health are at risk from the moment that a pregnancy exists in her body, whether she wants to be pregnant or not, he states. For a medical professional, Hearn's language is remarkable, imprecise and even misleading. A pregnancy does not exist in a woman's body, a baby does. Pregnancy describes the state of carrying a child in one's womb. While Dr. Hearn notes that black women are more likely to die from pregnancy in Alabama than white women, he fails to mention that black women are also much more likely to abort their children. Nationwide, black babies are 3 times more likely to be aborted than white babies, and organizations like abortion giant Planned Parenthood intentionally target black neighborhoods for their clinics. What Dr. Hearn knows but does not say is that while pregnancies are rarely fatal, abortions always are. As a practitioner of late-term abortions, he has seen babies literally ripped apart. In a late-term abortion, the abortionist will typically pierce the baby's skull, insert a catheter into the wound, remove the brain with suction, causing the skull to collapse, remove the baby through the birth canal, and scrape any remaining fetal tissue from the womb. Dr. Hearn wishes to describe this practice as life-saving. What it actually is an act of barbarism. Mayor Pete Buttigieg appears to be experiencing a national polling slump, according to a new Quinnipiac poll. The current mayor of South Bend now has 5% support, down 5 points from his peak of 10% support at the end of April. Democrats enjoying a boost in support include Senator Bernie Sanders, now up 5 points in a month, and Senator Elizabeth Warren, now with 13% support. Kamala Harris holds steady with 8% of the vote. The Morning Consult political tracker also shows a dip in support for Buttigieg after reaching a 9% high in April. He is now tracking at 6%. Buttigieg has enjoyed a wave of positive media coverage, including a mention from Oprah. His appearance in a Fox News town hall also created some buzz on Sunday, but the polls have not reflected any bump in support yet. Former Vice President Joe Biden responded to Donald Trump's accusation he had forgotten his home state of Pennsylvania by moving to Delaware. "I've never forgotten where I came from," Biden wrote on Twitter. "My family did have to leave Pennsylvania when I was 10, we moved to Delaware where my dad found a job that could provide for our family." Biden argued that Trump had no understanding of what it was like to move for economic reasons like his father did. Biden harkened back to one of his favorite campaign themes, telling the story of the longest walk of a parent who goes to tell his family that they are moving because they lost their job. "This story isn't unique to the Bidens," he said. "Too many people around this country have had to make that walk." Trump told Pennsylvania voters at a rally on Monday that Biden had largely forgotten the state. "He left you for another state and he didn't take care of you because he didn't take care of your jobs," Trump said. "He let other countries come in and rip off America.